Welcome to Harvard Survivor Season 2.
Feelings are gonna get hurt. Things are gonna get chicky. And people are gonna get sassy.
One person made a stand.
This is a real Survivor competition. I know what it takes to win this game. I'm gonna make these contestants fun.
No fear, no gold. Yeah? Hello, Lion?
My name is Connor Meyer. I'm the founder and president of the Harvard Undergraduate Survivor Club, the winner of Harvard Survivor Season 1, and your host for Harvard Survivor Season 2.
Alright, for the final immunity challenge, this is an endurance challenge. This is just whoever can last the longest. This is called handstand. Very simple. So we will demonstrate. You're just going to do a handstand. You can lean against the wall, and then as soon as any part of your head touches, you're out.
Okay. I don't know if I can get it. I'm gonna try to just get it off screen.
Just do that for as long as you can.
Damn, okay. I don't even know if I can do that.
Alright.
I'm kidding. This may need help.
Survivors ready? Go. I can help you.
Wait, so I'm just up here and no one else is up? What the fuck? Wait, why am I up here?
Finish out.
Do I win?
Oh,
Shit. Do I win or no? I feel like I've been up here long. Oh shit.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that's you. I win?
Cole, congratulations on
Thank
winning
you.
the Final Four immunity challenge.
You are virgin gold.
You cannot be touched. Guaranteed spot in the final 3. You will have your chance to plead your case to the jury. How does that feel?
It feels incredible. A dream come true. Surely.
Okay.
Truly. Yeah, truly. That's what I should have said.
So now, after you won, it seemed like a pretty short discussion. What did you guys talk about? It sounded like it was pretty open.
Yeah, I thought that like if in the final 4 like there shouldn't be any like secret conversations. We'd agreed that probably if we were all in the jury, we would pick Nate to win because he's so likable and he's played such a great game, and I don't think has pissed anyone off.
Yeah.
So we just I mentioned it, then Nick and Cole also went.
But I also feel like behind the scenes in the past couple of votes, like Nate's also been kind of going aside people and saying like, oh, we're doing this vote and this vote, and like people were executing on it. So I feel like he definitely played a part there.
Well, yeah.
That's fair. But safe.
I also feel like Nate kind of went into this game, at least on our tribe, not really knowing anyone too, and I feel like he made really good connections with everyone, and like everyone loves you and like respects you a lot for the vibes that you brought today. So that in mind, on the jury, that is not advantageous from my perspective. So that is why I'm leaning towards that way.
With all that kindness, never since Brutus plunged his blade into Caesar's breast has there been a greater betrayal. You have sold me for a bag of 12 coins.
100 coins.
Benedict Arnold.
So how are you feeling about this? Seems like they all kind of decided it. Is that you just feel like there's not much you can do?
I've been too overt.
Have you made a pitch to them? And it's
Yes, I had layers.
Yeah.
The layers, I'll reveal them here, was I had a deal with Saeed as my closest accomplice, the worst of the betrayers here. The plan was that if Nick did not get immunity, me, him, and Cole were going to vote for Nick. And then if Nick got immunity, me, him, and Nick were going to vote for Cole. I've been telling Cole the plan is to vote for Nick and we're deceiving Nick. I've been telling Nick just we're going to vote for Cole.
So, Cole, is that true? And is that just never part of your plan?
He did come up to me and say that. I mean, like I mentioned, he kind of has been in the back, like saying a plan for a while about in multiple steps, and he said during the final challenge between Malachi and Nick, he said, "All right, it's us three. Whoever loses here, we're taking them out, and then final four, we're taking out the other one." So he said, "Us three are in the final three," and he was spreading that to me. So yeah, I can say that is true.
Saeed, what made you betray Nate? So,
When was the decision made, too?
When Cole got immunity, I feel like that changed the game. I will say that I respect Cole a lot, and I told Nick this earlier. I think he has played the most honest game.
Nick or
Nick.
Cole?
Nick.
Oh,
So, Saeed, if Cole didn't win immunity, would you have voted with Nate against Cole?
No, but it was better that Cole won immunity so that I would.
problem solved.
So you're gonna betray Nate no matter what?
That's a yes.
I will say a little birdie whispered in my ear right next to, with Cole on my other side, 2 seconds before.
Okay, so let me
started.
explain. Okay, so the reason why I think Nick deserves to win, that I'm like very happy, is because he was suggesting that if Nate were to actually win the handstand game, that we should draw rocks.
Who said that?
Nick.
Nick did, yeah.
So
He did say that. I heard him.
do rocks, play rocks, and I think that was very noble because I think my tendency would have been a bit more.
I think at least
Not
from my
draw
perspective, I think I played a mostly loyal game. Sorry. And I think I had to keep to my word in the end because I think that matters a lot for your integrity, especially at final treble. So I think if I wasn't meant to go in final 3 and it was from rocks, and that was from that rather than the game, so I wouldn't have felt bad about that.
I respect that a lot.
Saeed, if you think that Nick deserves to win the game, why not just ask yourself to get voted off?
That's not the spirit of the game.
Why not vote Nick off then?
Fair
Good
enough.
attitude.
Yeah, or if you think, are you just happy with him winning the game? Or
I
are
would be
you
happy with any of them winning the game.
just not you or Nate?
I'm included in the trio.
Okay.
If I had gotten the hat, who would you guys have voted for?
If you what?
If I had gotten the hat, would you guys have voted for me?
Rocks.
Wait, what?
I was in rocks.
Not in jury, like if you were on jury. If one of you guys got on jury and I got the hat, one of you guys got voted off on jury, would you have voted for me or the other?
To win
Yeah.
Survivor? You.
Yeah.
That comforts my ego sufficiently.
How would the rocks have worked if Nate won immunity?
I don't know. Nick,
Well, I think
Nick,
we split the
Nick
vote.
thought about it.
Saeed would vote
somehow.
for Cole. Cole would vote for. Well, I'll tell Cole to vote for me, and then I vote for, or however you do that.
Split it.
But yeah.
But then I'd vote for someone.
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
Well,
We would have had to go
We
2.
didn't think about that.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think that far.
Okay. Alright, you guys ready to vote?
Yeah.
My one Hail Mary save grace is I explained to Saeed that if it's the 3 of them and not me, I think Nick is by far the crowd favorite. But if he votes off Nick, then he takes out his competition, and then even though he thinks I become the competition, then his last minute betrayal, him being like, obviously I'm gonna vote someone, but him being that other vote, kind of like adds a little extra play to the mix, gives him that extra shot. So we'll see. Probably not, but if it ties and then there's a revote and it ties again and then it goes to rocks or something, it could work out. Who knows? But this is probably it.
I trust my brothers. I won't be pulling anything sneaky. And I also feel that I'm quite persuasive, so maybe I can appeal to the jury. I feel like I have a more than 1/3 chance of making it through. I'd say like Nick, 55% win probability. Me, maybe like 40%. And then the other 5% maybe for Cole.
you don't feel like Cole has a good chance to win?
I feel like Nick has played a better game than Cole, so I wouldn't think so. I do feel that Andrew and Eva might pull for Cole
Because of prior relationships?
because of prior relationships.
Do you think Thea might vote for you? Because
I think Thea will be pulling for me.
okay.
I hope so.
You feel like you have a good chance to win. It sounds like you also think that Nick has a good chance to win.
I totally. I mean, at the last, or maybe final 6, I talked about how there was a chance that I wanted to go to the end with Nate and Saeed, because I definitely think I have a better chance of beating both of them. But I do kind of. I gave Nick my word earlier, and he gave me his, so I kind of wanted to stay true to that. So we'll see what happens, but I think I definitely would have had a much better chance if I was going up against Saeed and Nate. So we'll see. But,
How
yeah.
do you feel about your chances going into, if this works out, going against Saeed and Cole?
Love Saeed, but I feel pretty good with my odds against him. I think with Cole, I'm really going to need to work some magic with talking and articulating my game well. I think I've made a lot of moves, and I've been on the right side of every vote so far, which works in my favor. I think if he didn't win the immunity idol, that would have also put me in favor of being more of a challenge person in addition to having a strong social game, but we'll see. Because I think the jury likes him a lot. He's a great guy. He's played a great game, so I think it's going to be really close.
It is time to read the votes. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately and return right over there. Resume. 1 vote Nate. 2 votes Nate.
With a heart.
Yeah, that one had a heart. Nick. That's 2 votes Nate, 1 vote Nick, 1 vote left.
I fear that's my dummy.
Last person voted out of Harvard Survivor Season 2, Dating versus Undateable. Nate.
Give it up for Nate.
Get up there, Nate.
The worm charmer.
No idol left in the last round. The 3 gentlemen have told me they're voting for me.
Hi Nate, I'm sorry, I have to do what I have to do. You played a great game, really social with everyone, and you didn't start out with any connections, but you really forged a friendship with everyone, so a lot of respect to you for that. If I don't vote you, then I have to betray one of my alliance members, and I can't do that, especially since I've kept my word this way through, but unfortunately you have to go now, but it was great playing with you.
Nate's time has come. It is now up to the trio, myself, Nick, and Cole, to push it to the end.
Okay, so I voted for Nate. I've been saying for a while now that I was going to the end with Saeed and Nick, and so I just wanted to stay true to my word. And so the final 3 that I wanted to happen happened, and I'm happy about it. I'm really happy that I have this, because I was nervous that Nate and maybe Nick would betray me, hearing, at least at the last tribal council, people thinking that I had a good chance of winning. So I'm really happy I got this, and we'll see what happens at the final 3.
We can go right into final tribal.
Let's go through questions, then we'll give you guys closing statements.
Okay.
Okay. Alright.
I'll go first. I have a question.
Okay.
Okay.
Filming?
So I'm a little confused about why you wanted to vote out Andrew in the first vote, Nick,
Right.
as opposed to someone from Saeed Hana's alliance.
So for me, there was a lot of duos that we
Okay.
saw. It was you and me at the beginning, Saeed and Hana from our tribe, and then there was a trio, and then Nate, love you, but you were a little bit more on your own because you didn't know as many people at the beginning. And then there was the main trio of Cole, Mercedes, and Andrew.
Sure.
And it was honestly a toss-up between the 3. Like, love you, Cole, but I could have put your name down instead, and I think the vote could have gone there.
Yeah.
But I just knew that I needed to get a trio out because then it would be an even playing field. I felt confident that I could mesh well with either the duo of Cole and Mercedes or Saeed and Hana.
Gotcha. Did it concern you at all that Saeed knew Thea very well?
Yeah, it did, but I knew that people would vote on tribe lines and get Thea out first, so it wouldn't have been a concern for me.
Okay, got it. And then can I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you vote Nate? Why did you vote Nate out just now, Saeed?
Because if I was on the jury, I would have voted for him to win.
Okay. Why do you think that?
I think he just had such a great presence on Team Red that I think people saw even in the merge parts, and he was just.
Do you genuinely believe what you're saying right now? That you think
second that question.
Like,
do you genuinely believe that we would have voted for Nate to win?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Who did each of the 3 of you guys know coming into this game?
I knew Mercedes, Andrew, and Eva.
I knew Hana, Thea, and Eva.
I'm mutual friends with Swati,
Yeah.
but we never met. Thea, I've known you since freshman year, but like we're very friendly. And then Hana, very distant mutual friends.
So we all kind of knew like 3 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cole, you also said that you felt like if Nate made it to the end, he would win. Were you just saying that at tribal council, or now that he's voted out, do you honestly believe that?
I didn't say I wouldn't know if I didn't say I knew he would win. I said that like if I was on the jury, like he would have had an easy chance of garnering my vote just because of like the strategy I was seeing at the end of the game. Would say.
There's basically the reason you're here is because I lost immunity to you, and I would have beaten you in immunity. So I'm thinking about me, right? But Saeed would have been here no matter what, and to me that's what makes a good Survivor player is someone who would have been in the final 3 regardless of what else happens. And I think you're the person who like had the best relationships with the most people, and like I like trusted anything you would say. But like if Nick said something or if Cole said something, I would never trust that. And like pretty much anyone else, I like was like, oh whatever, except for Thea.
Alright.
And I think like to not have to like win a challenge to make it through, like I almost think you would have deserved it over me because I would have had to win every single challenge to be here because no one wanted to like work with me and I wasn't able to get anyone in. And I think like you had to win challenges, you had to beat me in that one or you would have gone. And you did too. I also am confused with this whole sentiment that people would have voted for Nate. I personally wouldn't have, no offense Nate, because he had no big moves and like kept saying he was gonna vote me out. But like you like made people feel like good and also you didn't have to win challenges to like end up here. And to me that's like the most important thing. So I guess that's kind of all I have to say. And it's not genuinely not because I'm like angry that I didn't win a challenge. It's just like me being angry about that makes me be like, wait, if I hadn't won a challenge, what would have happened? And the answer is Saeed still would have been in the final 3.
Finalists, you want to have a chance to respond to that?
So I go first.
You can go first.
Yeah, I would refute that a bit. I think there was other conditions at play when I needed immunity to pass because Nate had the idol and he was going to play it. So that was another step because that would have been the second out. So it was kind of like the third option there. In response to, I think, the idea that you need to win immunity to like get past to win means that you're a big threat, and that's why people want you out. I think big threats are the people that deserve to win because they have a strong resume of plays and strategy that brought them up to be of that status. So I would disagree with you on that part, but I think when I really needed immunity, I got it, and I made sure to like put all my effort in. So versus like the final 4 round, like I knew the handstand wasn't that important to me. I knew that was probably gonna end up with my 3 because we've been loyal to each other since the start. So.
But I'm saying, I think that Saeed had people he could have been loyal to the whole time. And I think there's like a perception that you both had like access to every plan that was happening. I don't think that that's true. And I think Saeed did. And that's my perception from like someone who like kind of watched everyone talk to each other because no one talked to me.
Totally fair. I think what I would have to say, at least for me, is that Survivor is built on like the three words. It's like it's logo, outwit, outplay, outlast. And like Saeed definitely played a great social game, definitely connected with a lot of people, and definitely had a lot of pass to the end. And obviously all 3 of us are up here, so that's kind of the outlast part. But for the outplay, I feel like Saeed kind of did like give up and sit, like he did sit out of the army challenge that we both kind of crawled through together.
He did 10. He said he did
I mean,
10 bear crawl steps.
we did like 3 laps, you know, and I feel like there is kind of a component of like if you're in Survivor, like you're gonna have to want to compete, like even when it's hard. You know, it's not supposed to be easy all the time, and I feel like I don't know. I just think like in the sense of the 3 words, he didn't really fully fulfill the outplay and actually like doing the challenges and giving his all on everyone. Like he was also the first guy out of the tree challenge. My last note here is us 3 kind of made like an alliance earlier on, and I think if we didn't win the challenges, our alliance would have fallen apart, and I think Saeed might not have made it to the end. Like
How early is earlier on? Like what vote?
I don't remember the exact vote, but
It was a vote before Hana and Mercedes left.
Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
Gotcha.
It was a Thea vote. We decided the 3 of us we wanted to
In
get
the end.
there.
Gotcha.
And I feel like, cause like for example, like when Swati got voted out, if Nate hadn't won immunity there, and we kind of like didn't work together, the 3 of us, then it would have been you 3, and then you guys probably would have picked off. I mean, I would have maybe gone first, and then you would have picked off the other 2, in a sense, and then this alliance would have dwindled.
Well,
So
I
I
don't
think
think that's true because Saeed was working with us, like would have been willing to help us, and we didn't feel that from you at all.
Okay, I'm just saying I think he kind of got here on the backs of us in a sense because we won the immunity challenge.
But he,
As a member of the jury, what I'm noticing is that like Nick and Cole, you guys seem to be like the physical, like hoo-ah vote, and then Saeed, you're more of like the social, fun guy vote. But I'm curious is like, so Saeed, you're pretty differentiated already because of that, but like how would you two differentiate yourselves because you're sort of in this like same bucket of person right now?
You can start.
Okay. I want to start. I'll go. I think for us, played a really similar game because we're both big strategy people. We think a social game is important not only as like friends in Kumbaya way, but also like making good connections that you could have a loyal alliance with. So I think when we had a similar mindset on that, a lot of our strategy looked the same, and then we're both physically, we're really into the challenges too. So I think that kind of just played out the way it did. What I will say that differentiated my game for strategies, I kind of had control of that very first vote when we had to actually vote off the first member of our tribe. Like, very much could have been Saeed if I wanted to, very much could have been Cole if I wanted to as well. It was more so I felt like I could work with Mercedes and Cole more than I could have worked with Andrew. And then for Saeed, I knew that he wouldn't have been a big threat strategy-wise because I knew Thea was going to be gone. So it was only going to be that duo. And I thought Hannah could have been picked off as well. So for that reason, I chose to keep Saeed and keep him as a closer member.
I guess for me, what I would say on the strategy part is what I saw as my path to the end there was kind of being very truthful and loyal and kind of building a small team to get me to the end and not trying to like spread myself too thin. Because obviously, Saeed's sitting here and he had a lot of paths to the ends, but I'm like not the most social person. I don't really like, in my opinion, I don't know. So I was like, I'm better like in smaller groups, kind of just building like deeper connections and then hoping those work out. So I totally understand what you're saying, Malachi. It's how like I wasn't really approaching you, but I kind of already had this 3 as my plan, and as you weren't a part of that, like that's why I wasn't really coming to you because I saw us as solid. And then we also the vote that didn't happen, where Hannah and Mercedes left. We did kind of have a blind side. So Swati was going to blindside Nate. Because initially our whole red team was thinking that we were just going to all vote out Malachi. And then Swati came to me with Malachi and some other people saying, oh, let's vote out Nate to flesh out his idol. But then I kind of came to our alliance here and we said, let's flip it on Swati because she'll never see it coming. She's a great player. And I think we executed on that. I don't know. I think we would have had that vote, but then it didn't go through. And I think I kind of helped led and orchestrated that, I would say.
Okay. Saeed, do you want to have a chance to respond to the questions?
Of how they differentiate themselves.
There was talking about your game was more social. Do you agree with that assessment?
I don't really. I think that I definitely failed at the army challenge, but I think I was kicking Malachi in the monkey bar fights. I was also in the finals of the milk cart rope competition. I won 2 consecutive games to get to the finals.
Who won?
And then Nick beat me.
Sorry.
And so I don't like the characterization of like not being in it for the physical, but I do think I'm much less physically strong. But like I looked for those trolls, like that was. Like, I think the attitude and intention was there, and the execution was on par with what I physically bring to the table.
Can I make one more strategy comment? Sure. I think that vote that Cole and I worked on to push the vote off of Nate onto Swati was really important for my game too, because even though Swati was my number 1, I knew that she was a really big winner threat at the end because you've got a really great story, you know how things operate, and I tried to get you out before you came for me, and then when that vote didn't work, then it came to me, so I kind of was able to predict that that was going to happen eventually. But unfortunately with the way things panned out, it had to go to that second vote where I did get votes, but otherwise I would have done a pretty perfect game.
Well. Brutus, Judas, and Cassius.
Who's who?
Oh, what is the most impressive thing you think you did over the course of this game? Like one thing that sets you apart and why I should vote for you.
Other than betraying me.
Which was pretty respectable. I would have done the same.
I feel like I would like to say that I was kind of a leader and kind of helped the red team make it through the challenges in the beginning. I feel like a leader and a cheerleader, I'd say, kind of those two sometimes go hand in hand, but with like the first challenge of walking across, I feel like, I don't remember who mentioned it, maybe Hannah did, but like, she's like, oh yeah, this was like Cole's great idea. Like, not that great idea makes you a leader, but I feel like helped orchestrate that one. And then doing the logs, I went first and then kind of directed people through that, and I think we were able to do that sufficiently, beating the other team by like 3x. and then kind of like a cheerleader in the sumo. I mean, everyone was a cheerleader in that, but I feel like kind of like leading the tribe in the beginning, I think, is what helped the red team make it through, and kind of is why the Final Four was all red team players. Is what I would say.
So
I think it really is the vibe attitude towards Survivor as a whole. Like I think there is something to be said about just getting the email and then trying to mobilize friends to sign up for this random thing and then pushing through with it and then showing up with that excitement, and like I could say it's like getting out of the Andrew situation and like trying to work myself back up. But I think that what is more important about my game, which I'm very happy that Malachi touched on, is that this love of the game.
So Mafi, do you have a comment?
Oh, not on this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would also agree with Cole for myself as well, though, but like more so passive leadership. I think I'm not necessarily the most forwardly outspoken person, but I think I made a conscious effort to try to get to know everyone and give them an honest shot. I apologize for those that did not have the time to get to know better, just based on how challenges were and then straight to voting. But I really approached this just like to have fun. We're out here. It's senior year for me. I just want to do something like some random bucket list stuff for myself. And I'm really proud of like the friendships I've been able to make from this. I've met a lot of cool, amazing people, and excited to see everyone in a reunion or just on the street between classes. So yeah, I'm just happy with the game that I played and with how it's all played out.
100%.
I know who I'll be voting for, and I just wanted to comment on that real quick. I'm going to vote for Nick to win. I think, to point back to something earlier in Tribal, I think all of you played a great game, and Nate, you too. Like, an awesome game.
Thank you.
An awesome blindside. Like, if those people hadn't quit, you definitely would have had me. I think, Saeed, I think I'm not going to vote for you because I think the main point in favor of you is your social game, but I think some of that happened before the game itself. And so I think that it's not quite fair to consider. Like, I can imagine you being friendlier with Thea because you had some pre-existing relationship with Thea. Then Cole and Nick, I think you guys were both great strategic threats. It's actually, I didn't know that you were the one who orchestrated my blindside. I think that's a huge point in your favor. But I think the reason I'm going to vote for Nick ultimately is I think that Nick had more people when he came into this game that he had to get out in order to like make it here and be considered a serious threat. And I think like Nick was your biggest competitor, and like for Nick there were multiple people he had to get out who were biggest competitors. I think for you Nick was your biggest competitor, and I think you shouldn't have let him make it to the final three with you. But I also think you played an amazing game.
I would like to comment on that real quick. I feel like I have a very high moral compass, and I gave Nick my word that I would take him to the end. You'll watch in the video, but I said 3 at the end of the final 6. I was like, I need it. Like, if I want to win, I probably like should take out Nick because like I think I could probably beat the other two just based on like the outplay factor.
You're talking about the Final Four.
Yeah.
You had immunity. You had a chance. You had a chance to take out Nate. Take out Nick at the Final Four.
Yeah, exactly. And I said like, we'll see how it goes, but I probably won't do it because I gave him my word, and I'll just fight it out in the final 3 because I think my word is more important. But, yeah.
Give me your word too.
But it was a different type. It was like,
It was a different kind of word.
I never gave you my word, to be honest.
It was
I would go
a
final 3. You looked at me and said final 3, and I was like, but I never. I looked him in the eye and said, all right, we'll do final 3.
And I'll say the same thing. Like, I very much had the opportunity to take out Cole 2 or 3 times, like Final 4, Final 5.
Final 4 you couldn't. I had this.
Oh, right.
In
Sorry,
final
my
5
bad.
I had an idol.
My bad.
Just for the record.
Okay,
So-
I didn't know about. Which I props to you for keeping that for a while. But there was other opportunities, so
Just saying, I did have those 2 things. But yeah.
I will give Cole props for the idol. I think that was well played, and also to keep the anonymity of it for a while. That was
Thank
really
you.
impressive.
Appreciate it.
I will take this opportunity to add that I want to distance myself from just being the social player. Because of my moves was actually knowing that he had the
He
idol
did
the
know.
whole time.
And he was faithful to me, so I appreciate
And
that.
keeping that in check and waiting to see if or how I would cash that in and use that to get his loyalty, and not just a social game, but also a very strategic game that involved the challenges as well.
Congrats on making it to the final 3. Something that I couldn't do, obviously. Just a point of clarification on the vote that I lost. Cole had immunity, so he wasn't able to get voted out, so it wasn't like an option between me
Yeah, that
or
is true.
Mercedes, it was just me or Mercedes. And then like in terms of the votes for Saeed, Cole and Mercedes told me that I was getting votes before tribal, so I knew I was in the hot seat, and so we were just kind of like shot in the dark, hope that someone else would vote for Saeed, and then we were just on a hope and a dream. So that vote was kind of like not Saeed having the tribe on him, it was just me, Cole, Mercedes picking like a random person to shoot at and hoping it could pay off. I guess heard a lot about like the good things you did, but like what was like the worst moment of your game and how did you recover from that? Like what moment like set you back and then you had to come kind of like recover? Anyone can go first. Don't really care.
I can start. I think you kind of mentioned it, but voting for Saeed, I did vote for you, and I think you kind of had a hunch. And right before I voted for him, I found the aisle and we kind of had like an agreement, and then we kind of talked on our way to I kind of decided we were hanging out in our tribe, and I think we were kind of growing a bond, and then I did vote for you, just because I kind of saw you as that social threat that you have become, thinking like, if I can get you out now, that's great for my game, because then also no one else knows that I have the idol. But then I couldn't get you out, and then I was like, okay, like you're obviously a great player, I got to keep you in, but on my team, so I think my mistake was probably voting you out instead of trying to use you, and I kind of had to fight to win your allegiance back, I'd say, but it worked out in the end.
There we go. Yeah, Malachi, when I was kicking you during that challenge, I felt really bad. I feel like I definitely kind of felt in the hot seat of like I needed that immunity to get forward. Because otherwise then we'd have to turn on one of the three of us now, given that Nate had an idol. But I think I leaned into the game a little too hard, and even though it was like still within the bounds of the challenge, I still felt bad about that. I hope that you accepted my apology then, but I apologize for kicking you. Yeah.
You wouldn't be here if you didn't.
This is true, but I still think that was not in my normal character.
Oh yeah, you did the right thing.
I think that I played a very clean game, but the time where I needed to win a challenge was the monkey bar fight, because I knew that you had a secret idol. I know that Nate had an idol. I know that whoever wins the challenge will get the cap, and so that meant that if I didn't win, I'd be only one of two people that would be eligible to be booted off. And so when I didn't win, I think that was the riskiest part of my game, because I and technically Cole were the only people that knew that only Malachi and I could be booted off, because he knew that he wasn't going to leave because of his idol.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, I think, the riskiest point. But otherwise, other parts of the game, I felt pretty happy with my strategy.
Am I allowed to ask a second question? Okay. If you guys were to vote for someone else in the final three to win, who would you vote for? No why, just name.
I would vote for Nick.
I'd vote for Cole.
I'd probably vote for Saeed.
Okay, my question's a little different. I just feel like we've spoken a lot about tactics and stuff now, and I'm just really curious how you guys are intending to spend your winnings from this game.
The whole room to go and have a bite after this.
Great answer.
With $100, the
Yeah.
whole
You're
room?
not allowed to split your winnings. It's in the rules.
Well, we all had agreed about that in the
It's
final
one
four.
bill. It's one bill.
It's one bill,
One
exactly.
bill.
Like you're not splitting it.
We just put it down for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said earlier that I would use it to take my girlfriend out to dinner.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Who is?
Who's long distance.
Oh, that was true. Okay.
Yeah. Her name's Caroline. She goes to school in Elon, so I only get to see her like once a month.
Where's Elon?
It's in North Carolina,
Oh,
so it's like it's far away. But I take her out to a nice dinner.
No association with Elon Musk, by the way.
Correct.
Thanks for that.
Okay. I also wanted to say one other thing, which I think it is like a little disappointing when you guys kind of spoke about how you formed this sort of like trio pretty early on, or started like seeing each other as competitors. Just because like I do feel like there were some like pretty strong women in the game, both physically like and mentally, and it disappointed me a little bit that I feel like you guys were almost like looking at each other. And then I think that like that kind of meant that like it was harder for like the women in the game to like form allegiances even. I don't know if you guys want to respond to that at all, but I just wanted to like
I can respond to that. I think for me, my number one was Swati until I realized that she was going to vote me out. So I was planning to go to the end until I realized that that was not a good option for me. And I think if Mercedes was still here, I think she'd probably be sitting here instead of one other person. Yeah.
So my vote is completely up in the air right now. I had the, fortunate experience to not have to play with any of you guys. So I got a good opportunity to, observe each three of you as players throughout the game. And I have questions, or at least one question for each of you. And I think depending on how well you guys answer those questions, I think that'll be based on how my vote is. All right, so first, my question is for Zaid. How intentional was your game?
I'd say pretty intentional, but I think the vibes were incredible, were very authentic, including my banter with you the whole time.
Okay. And because the reason why I asked that is because when Malachi was advocating for you, you seemed shocked that someone would advocate for you. It seemed like he had to be the one to, describe your game. Would you have been able to describe your game yourself?
Yes, but I was very happy to see someone see it. And because I respected Malachi's game a lot, and the reason I had to vote him out at the end is because me and him were the only people eligible to be voted out. It just personally meant a lot to me to have Malachi support my game and my candidacy.
Thank you. All right, my next one or two questions is for Cole. Do you agree that between Nick and Nate at the Final Four, who was the bigger threat?
To me?
Yeah.
I said in my confessional that Nick was the bigger threat to me. You'll watch it later. But I said that we played a pretty similar game. I think my strategy was a little bit better than his. We both won 2 immunities, I believe, individual immunities. And so it was pretty similar on paper. I think my strategy was a little bit better. And the only reason that I chose to bring him to the Final 3 instead of Nate is because I gave him my word.
Okay, and my second question for you is, do you think there's a moral way to play this game?
I would like to think so, yeah. I mean, I think there's just a moral way to go about life. Like you always, I know it's just a game and obviously like you can lie and lie under the disguise of the game, but I think, in my opinion, like the more and more you lie in life, the more it becomes part of your character, and I try and keep a pure character, so I try to stay true to who I am, even when I play games.
Okay. And then, Nick, my question for you is, what do you think is the game-winning moment for you in this game? I know what the answer is.
You know what the answer is?
I think I know what the answer is, so I want to know what your answer is.
I would say that's a really tough question. I think at the beginning, one of the game-winning moments for me was just identifying that there was this really strong trio that needed to be squashed because I knew that majority would have really strong allegiance going forward and would probably pluck me out at some point. So I think identifying that threat early on and making sure I had good alliances amongst Zaid, Hana, Nate, and Swati going into the merge. If there was no idol, I think, again, in my opinion, I think Cole would have been out or Coral Andrew. And then I think another important thing for me was that on that vote that Cole's saying that he decided that Swati was the vote and that he wanted to execute on that, I think it was important for me that I gave Cole the agency to make him feel like he was a part of the alliance and not feeling like I was just calling the shots, because in his previous tribal council, he had said that, I feel like I'm kind of being talked to and being told the plans, and I wanted to make him feel like a part of the plan so that we actually felt like we had a stronger bond together. So I think it was important for him to feel that agency in claiming that move, but also that move was the best move for me too, because I knew Swathi was going to come for me eventually.
So who do you think was who do you guys think was responsible for? I see what you're saying of no one was 100% responsible, but who do you think was more responsible? And I think it's a positive thing, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, one, I'm voting for you to win. I've already decided that. But two, I would like to know, honestly, between you two, what do you think who do you two think was responsible for
I really think it was a back and forth.
Okay.
Because we both floated Nate's and Swathi's name. I think I was indifferent to it, and I think if I actually had a real opinion on it, or if I really wanted to go Swathi's way and it wasn't Swathi, then I would have pushed Cole to go Swathi, because we were kind of a coin toss between the two. because we wanted to get that idol out, and also I wanted Swathi out.
Are you talking about at the final 6 where Swathi actually went out?
No,
No,
final
that's
7.
beforehand.
The fake vote.
I will say, I think I was your biggest op, Swathi, during that moment when you 3 were sitting in front and us 5 were.
Oh, no, I believe that. I believe that you were my biggest stop. No tea, no shade.
And
Again,
so I
think
would
it's great.
also like to take credit for the Swathi sabotage.
Yeah.
But
And
what I would say is I feel like I was able to kind of bring my alliance in with Saeed, and I feel like the reason I can take claim for that one was because I was able to bring in my alliance over here with Saeed and then merge that with Nick, whereas Nick was not able to bridge that gap.
Yeah, no, I believe that because I know we had just talked about
Yeah.
voting out Nate and then you. Okay, but that's not to take credit
No,
away,
totally,
but it's
yeah.
also useful to know how you guys fared anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one final question.
Okay.
And it's for all 3 of you. Who do you guys think is the most responsible for keeping Nate loyal to you guys and not flipping and voting with Swathi and Alakai at the final 6?
I think
Maybe ask Nate that.
Great point.
Nate, why don't you answer that?
Who did the best?
Yeah, making sure that you voted with them and not final 6, because I think that was a game-losing move for you and Alakai and Swathi.
Can I also comment that if he voted for me, I would have been done.
Okay.
So it's dissuasion against me.
Yeah. Okay, but I want him to answer.
Yeah.
This is difficult. I don't think it was Cole. I was just never on that same page as Cole. I'm very between Nick and Seed. I think I'd lean a little more towards Seed because I think there was just a point where like when I had my plans of like double crossing Nick, Seed was the one and he was like, you and me are gonna make it to final 2, whether it's Nick or Cole with us. Oh, look at that smile. Get that smile on camera. And I think because of that, he was the one that I put the most trust in.
Yeah.
So I think I'd have to give that to him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finalists, give your closing statements.
What I would say is I feel like I mean I'm not gonna go against either of them. I'm just gonna speak about what I kind of did today. I feel like I really came and like gave it my all every single time I had the chance. I was totally involved in every single challenge. You can look at my pants. I was hanging on the tree for forever. I was swimming in the mud. Really gave it in the sumo wrestle. I was always giving 100%, never slacking. And I feel like some people were kind of just like, oh, today's gonna be fun, but I really wanted to like get the full Survivor experience, really dig deep into it. And while I might not have had the best strategy or been able to communicate some moves and make a move early, I feel like I gave it my all the whole time. I really tried my best. I was able to make some big plays, was able to move some alliances around. I found a hidden immunity idol. I played it effectively, got me to the end. I won some challenges, and I feel like I really got the whole Survivor experience, and I'm really proud of how I played. And then also, my girlfriend really wants a nice dinner, so I'm hopeful I can give that to her.
You can give it to her no matter what.
Yeah, you can give it to her.
No, I do
I
need the
hope
money.
you give it to her no matter what.
I do need the money for that.
I think that the vibe and attitude that I brought to today's game is exactly what Harvard Survivor is looking for and what it's about. I think my game was sneaky, cheeky, and had a lot of action, had a lot of cool moves in it, and I think that that's something that we all should support. I think, for example, the fact that I had a great ally, Hana, on my team because I told her to come to Harvard Survivor shows my attitude and commitment to the program, to the events, and to the entire organization as a whole. And I think that it would be like if I was voting, I think I had the most interesting game. And I think there is something to say about having a cool, interesting game that was pretty smooth, but also pretty under the radar until the end when it came out. So I think that the game and the vibes and the banter with Fu, who I didn't know would be voting, it's just like part of the reason that I think I should be your survivor.
Yeah, I think today was a lot of fun. It was a really great opportunity to get to know new people. And I think at Harvard too, it's kind of tough once you get to the older points to actually like get that warm introduction and so on, and be able to like be comfortable saying hi to them on the street. So I'm really appreciative to have had that opportunity. I think it was really fun too to get a little taste of what Survivor looks like. I know this is like a very much small dose of it, but it was really fun to actually get to be playing it and get to be thinking like the whole time about what my next move is, who do I want to talk to, how do I want to appear when I'm talking to someone else, and also more genuinely, just like the connections I made with people. Like I'm really excited to see you guys outside of this. I think my game, I had a clean, perfect voting record. Every single vote, I feel like I had quite a bit of control in, and I voted successfully on. So I was able to execute each on those and make people feel comfortable in those votes. I think if the revote or the nullified vote round didn't happen, I wouldn't have received a single vote versus the other two had multiple opportunities where they were voted for. So I would have had a clean sweep there too. And I overall, like, win or lose, like, had a great time. So really appreciate you guys being here right now too. So yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, jury, turns over to you. It is time for you guys to vote for a winner. So who wants to go first?
Not to overestimate my worth, but it does help to have someone you can have your back. And then Mercedes, we knew, was potentially leaving, and so he knew that like he lost both of his main allies and kind of had to figure out his way from there. And it sounds like he had like a good group of people, and so I think that compared to the other two, because I was hearing Saeed saying some stuff about how maybe he was like not even taking this seriously, and now he might win, and so it's like a big shift, and so maybe he got his like act together. But I think that Cole played a good game from start to finish.
Something that counted against, I'll talk about what counted against Saeed to start. I think what counted against him was he didn't go out on all of the challenges, and I'm somebody who I value that very highly, and like giving everything your all isn't something that Saeed did, because he definitely held himself back just due to like probably fear of like being perceived in a certain way, which is definitely something that I think he should grow out of. But Cole, I think, was my other main option, and he did go all out on all the challenges. I think the reason why I didn't end up voting for Cole is that he played a very similar game to Nick and kind of stuck to like the group of people that he knew, and he was like, he got lucky that he came into the game knowing a lot of people, and I'm not sure he would have done as well if he didn't come into the game knowing as many people. Versus I think Saeed's game is a little bit more transferable across multiple groups of people, and he was more of a team player in the way that he like brought in a bunch of different coalitions. And he still did try on the challenges, just maybe not as much, and didn't go all out as much as other people, but there's a lot of people who did go all out and who aren't here, so you have to weigh more than just one factor.
He is very, very deserving of winning, and I don't like really think that Nick or Cole did anything. Like they're talking about all these moves they did, I'm like, wait, no, you didn't really do anything, because all that kept happening was the same people that anyone who was watching could have predicted would get voted off, except for when we had, like, I had immunity, and then still, it was like, obviously it's gonna be Swati, are you serious? Like, that's not a big deal at all. Like, that's not really a blind side. She's the one person who's actually played Survivor, and she also was obviously the most strategic. That's the person you have to vote off. You didn't make any choice, so, and Saeed, no matter who was winning immunity challenges and had the power, would have made it to the end. That's the person who deserves to win, it's Survivor.
I want to say I don't want to vote for Cole because I felt like he didn't really answer my questions in the way I wanted him to. He basically, I want players who are willing to be cutthroat and willing to be strategic, and he didn't own up to his game. He was talking about being a loyal player, believing there's a moral way to play his game. I don't agree with any of that, so he should have cut Nick at the Final Four, sorry. And then between Zaid and Nick, was really tough. I think Malachi made a really, really compelling case for Zaid, and that's usually a game that I really, really respect, but I just don't think he really owns that game, in my opinion, and I don't think he would be the best representation to win this game. I think Nick would be a better representative as the winner of the game, and also there's a lot of votes going for Zaid, I think, and so I want Nick to at least get second place, so that's my vote for Nick.
I'm not in any way upset by people knowing each other outside the game, because that happens in real Survivor too. Like season 40, that was all like everything that was going on was like the relationships those people had outside the game. I am frustrated that people refuse to acknowledge it in the final voting, because I think it's like totally fine to know people when you come in, but like I think that should be, and I don't think that prohibits Cole or Saeed from winning. Like I would totally vote for Cole if he had not let Nick sit next to him at the final tribal.
All right, we are reading votes for a winner. All right. First vote, Saeed.
Okay.
Next vote. Cole.
I like the exclamation mark. I'll take that.
Next vote.
Appreciate it.
Nick. That's 1 vote Saeed, 1 vote Cole, 1 vote Nick. Nick. That's 2 votes Nick, 1 vote Saeed, 1 vote Cole. Saeed. 2 votes Saeed, 2 votes Nick, 1 vote Cole. 2 votes left. Saeed. That's 3 votes Saeed, 2 votes Nick, 1 vote Cole, 1 vote left. And the winner of Harvard Survivor Season 2, Saeed.
I'm voting for Cole. I came into this game knowing him and knowing his love for the Survivor, and so I know how much this means to him.
I voted for Saeed. I think Nick had to overcome a lot, and so I think the fact that Nick is there, just like, I can't vote for anyone else.
So I'm voting for Nick.
I voted for Saeed. I signed my name because I want him to know. And I think what Malachi said really inspired me is I think of all the people there, I think Saeed was the one that one way or another was going to make it to that final 3. And I think that defines the Survivor for me. He played it cool, kept a low profile, and I think he let people that were trying to take more active charge. He was very agreeable to them, amenable to them, in on their plans. Never seemed like he was the one being manipulative. And I think one way or another that would have gotten him to the finish line. He almost got out in that beginning vote with Andrew, but I think that was just bad luck, and he clutched up and came in, and that's why I voted for him.
I'm voting for Saeed. I'm gonna be mad if someone else wins.